Welcome to the Marketing Lab, your go-to podcast for all marketing information. I'm your host, Tyler, and we'll cover different tips, tricks, and strategies to help level your marketing up. Examine real-world case studies and dissect all the marketing implications and how you can best use this information. And lastly, bring in industry professionals to share their knowledge along with entrepreneurs and discuss their marketing journeys in business. Now let's get our lab coats on and jump right in. So today's going to be another case study. This one is actually Kern Lima. I've heard quite a few different podcasts from her, and honestly, she's amazing at what she does. She's extremely inspirational, and she has a truly great story. So there are some different podcasts that I guess you could go out to and listen to that I'll get into here. But Kern Lima, we'll get a little bit of a backstory of who she is. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on Kern Lima, but I'm going to get into a little bit of backstory of her, what she ended up doing, what I ended up liking about it, and how you can implement this into your business. So let's dive right into it. She is an entrepreneur who founded IT Cosmetics. And honestly, like I was saying earlier, she's been on a lot of podcasts. The most recent one that I listened to was on Ed Milet's podcast. And if you want to check that out, that podcast episode, it's not ordered. It's the podcast titled "This Will Change Your Life" with Kern Lima and Huge Announcement. It was posted on June 20th of 2023. I think that's a really good episode that you could check out, get a little bit about her, and she's just extremely inspirational. So if you do want to check that out, you can go there. You could probably also just search in Kern Lima, and then you'll find more podcasts out there, but that was the most recent one that I did listen to. So let's dive into a little bit about Jamie here. So when she was young, she had a skin condition, and when she was looking at different makeup products and different stuff in the industry, she would try all these different makeup products on, and none of them really worked for her skin condition that she had. So she had a problem that she needed to solve. And that's how a lot of great businesses or products or services end up starting, is you see this problem and then you end up solving it. So that's basically what ended up happening with her and her company that she ended up starting, IT Cosmetics, with her skin condition. Because when you look at it, she saw this opportunity in the market of cosmetics, and everyone that was currently marketing in there, and you'll hear it more into the story once we get into it later, is you even see it on TV or in ads. They have these supermodels with perfect skin using these makeup products. And when little girls or even bigger girls, not like size-wise, but older girls, they see these supermodels on TV, it's something for them to look up to, and they want to be like them. So what she saw is all these supermodels that have flawless skin, they can't relate to her because she has a skin condition, and all these makeup products that are currently being sold to her, they don't work because these people are being paid just to be on camera and to promote this product. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there where she didn't find that connection. And when she was trying, she said she tried so many different makeup products and none of them really worked. So that's where she said, okay, this is a opportunity in the market that I can do. And what she ended up doing was creating her own company and using real women in these ads. And I think that real woman at first, when she was just starting out, was herself, because she had this skin condition and she didn't look like these supermodels. She had, her size or whatever it is, it's not extremely skinny like what they're supposed to look like, and everyone's supposed to want to grow up and look like this person. So she did end up seeing this problem in the market. And basically what she thought to herself was, in these ads, the girls that were always in it, they never had the problematic skin that she had. And she just thought to herself, well, were they actually using it? So she thought that she could do this. And what she took from these unrealistic expectations of supermodels that always made her feel like she wasn't enough, and she ended up flipping it. And when you see all these supermodels on TV, that's one thing I'm not a big fan of, because it creates unrealistic expectations where you're taking like the 1% of the 1%, and everyone's trying to be like this 1%, and no one's actually, there's a very small population that's actually going to be there. And I think that's a big issue within marketing, but that's a whole different topic. I know Seth Godin says something about, I think it's like marketers created depression or something like that, because it's like, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this. So I digress. So what she ended up doing was flipping it and using actual real women of all shapes, sizes, skin tones, etc., and called them beautiful. So this became the new beautiful or standard for beauty in her eyes and for her business. So girls could look up to these regular looking girls and try and be like them, and that's actually more attainable, where they aren't just always going to be sad and depressed because they're never going to actually look like the supermodel unless they maybe go through different plastic surgery or whatever it is. So the goal is to shift the culture for any little girl who's about doubting herself, or even older girls as well. So she wanted to shift the culture to not where they weren't looking up to these supermodels, the 1% of the 1%, and never actually being able to achieve it, and just buying this makeup product because this 1% of the 1% is using it, where they might not actually be using it. They just might be getting paid to be on camera to actually use it. So she was trying to shift that culture, and I think she honestly did a really good job with it, because as you'll find out later, she ended up selling the business. So she was a struggling entrepreneur. She had no after no after no for 3 straight years, and honestly, that can be very demoralizing, but she kept going. And I think one thing that you'll notice is that she had extremely good drive and resilience to not give up, and she believed in her product to just keep on going. So obviously that's going to be one big area that she had within her business and marketing in general, is that she knew that there was a need for this product. She knew that she could make this successful, and she just had that drive and resilience. So some different things that she heard was, your packaging wasn't good, people wouldn't buy from you, people don't aspire to look like you. And it's just, imagine hearing that when you're trying to build this business and you're trying to be, I think she was trying to be the face of the business, where she has these skin problems, she has these curves, she has all these different attributes that you don't typically see on these commercials, say with like the supermodels or whatever it is. So she's trying to really branch herself and differentiate herself from the current marketing. And when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense, because if you're just coming up with, say, a makeup company and you're doing the same thing that these big companies are doing, what's going to separate you from them? Honestly, it's going to be really tough to separate yourself, because you're doing the exact same thing from an established brand that already has that brand value and that brand name. People already go to them because that's what they do. That's what they're comfortable with. They know, like, and trust them. So it's really tough to get someone to branch away from something that they currently already buy. So even if you think about your toothpaste, when you think about your toothpaste, you probably buy the exact same one every single time because that's what you just bought and that's what you're used to. So it's really tough to get in and break through into a market when you're going to be copying, say, all the big players that already have all this market share. So what she ended up doing was doing something completely different from all the other people, and that differentiated herself, and that's how she was able to break through into this. So she was getting really, really low on her funds. She said $1,000 left in her account. She had an investor meeting. She said she really thought it was going to end up going through, and what the guy ended up saying is, no, we can't invest at this time. And what she ended up saying was, can I ask why? And what they ended up saying was, imagine just hearing all this stuff and you're still able to go forward and fight. And maybe it just lights a fire under her to want to succeed even more. But basically what they said along the lines of, you shouldn't market this product. And what they said is, I just don't think women will buy makeup from you with your body and weight. And I don't know if he said skin as well, but just imagine hearing that when you're in your entrepreneurial journey. That's got to be so demoralizing to hear. And even though she was getting no after no and all these people rejecting her, she was still able to come out on top. And it was just that drive and resilience to keep on pushing. So with that being said, that, like I said, that might have lit a fire under her. But what she ended up doing was selling her company for $1.2 billion, which is honestly a pretty good payday. So what she ended up doing was basically using regular people to market her products and not supermodels. And what ends up doing is it connects with the audience, because you're not using these fake people that have these extremely high unrealistic expectations that can't actually connect with, say, the target audience, because it's tough for someone that maybe is a little bit overweight to connect with a supermodel that is extremely skinny. They have perfect skin, they have perfect hair, they have perfect eyes, whatever it is. It's really tough for people to connect with that. So maybe you are using your marketing efforts and you are using like these perfect examples of what you want the depiction of people that use your products to be, but are you speaking directly to your target audience? And that's what I think she did so well of, is that she actually spoke directly to these target audiences that of hers that didn't have the perfect skin, that wasn't the perfect size, that had the wrong skin or whatever it might be. There was just so many different things that she ended up doing, capitalizing on it, and it just worked out so well. And a few of the key takeaways that I've already touched on a little bit is basically don't do what everyone else is doing. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're just going to blend in with everyone else. And it's really similar with competing with price, where if you're doing what everyone else is doing and you're just trying to race to zero, you're not really going to be able to come out ahead. Whereas if you're going to differentiate yourself, say everyone in the market is charging $100, and then all of a sudden you charge $1,000, that's going to really differentiate yourself, and people are going to talk about it, because it's like, why the hell is this $1,000? People are going to want to know why it's $1,000. So I know that's a little bit off topic, but it's tough to separate yourself and become different from everyone else in your industry if you're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. So you want to differentiate yourself whatever way it is. So whether that's through your marketing efforts with the people in your advertising, or maybe it's like the way you talk or the way your copy is on your website. There's a lot of different ways that you can differentiate yourself. And I know a lot of people, when they first start out, they say want to grow to be the next Nike brand. So they're going to try and copy and do as much and similar things that currently Nike is doing, which honestly might not be the smartest play. So basically what I would say is don't do what everyone else is doing. Differentiate yourselves. Don't copy the big guys, because they already have that brand value. They already have their audience there. People are already buying from them. It's tough to get consumers to switch products, like I was saying earlier with toothpaste, or maybe it's even shampoo or soap. It's tough to get people to switch unless something really bad happens to them. So if you're going to want to gain new market share, you're going to want to do something different than what actually people are currently doing. So I think this is really similar to the blue ocean, red ocean strategy, and it's just not blending in, because if you're going to just blend in, you're just going to get lost in the weeds. So stand out, be different, know your target audience, and speak directly to them. And that's what I think Jamie did so well with, because everyone was saying, you're not going to be able to connect with people. People aren't going to buy this because you aren't this supermodel. You aren't this idea of perfect. And what she ended up doing was she knew her target audience and she spoke directly to them, because she didn't have the perfect skin. She didn't have the perfect body type. She didn't have all these perfect attributes on her, and she was able to speak to the masses. And if you think about it, that's probably the majority of the audience. Their majority of the audience is probably average to below average or slightly above average. Whereas with these other companies, they're using supermodels. That's the 1%. You're going to be using people that don't relate to the majority of the people. I forget what the graph is called, where it starts out really small and then it goes up, and then there's like the big peak in the middle. But that's pretty much exactly what she did. She ended up speaking to that big peak in the middle. I'm average too, but you're ended up speaking to a lot of people that are just average, and that's the biggest target audience. So she knew exactly who she was talking to, and she did it in such a great way. So that's one thing that I would say is know your target audience and speak directly to them, and relate to your target audience with the people you use in your marketing campaigns. And that's exactly what she did. I believe she used herself. She might have added more people in once she started growing the company, but when she was first starting out, she had the skin condition. She was using people that were of all different shapes, sizes, skin colors, skin conditions. So it was just using all these different people that can actually relate to her target audience. So when you are using the people in your marketing campaigns, you want to make sure that you're able to speak directly to them. So like an example could be if you sell workout clothes for bigger people just starting out, and it's just people that maybe they want to get into working out, but they don't want to. There's a lot of fear of judgment, fear of just buying new clothes or whatever it might be. So it's selling workout clothes to bigger people. And do you think it would be smart to have someone that's, say, like an Arnold or someone that's extremely ripped, that's been working out for, say, 20 plus years or 10 plus years, and you can see the work that they've been putting in? Or do you think it would be smarter for someone to be in the commercial that is heavier set as well? Maybe what you could go through in the commercial is, or advertisement, whatever it might be, is they're having self-doubt in themselves, saying, I don't want to work out, I don't want to do this. And what ends up doing it is they end up getting some workout clothes. They get this specific clothes that's designed for bigger people, and then it's just like shown one day. And then it's like, okay, I'll just do it today. Okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then it's just continuing to do it, and having, say, a heavier set person that is able to speak to directly to that target audience of, say, the heavier set people. So I think it's just considering what your product is, who you're selling it to, product or service, who you're selling it to, and who the people in your advertisement or commercial, whatever it might be, is going to be able to speak directly to them. So you want to make sure that you're able to connect with your target audience and whatever that might be. So it's just making sure that it's relatable and people are able to connect with it in your audience and through the advertisements that you're doing. So to sum it up, learn your product or service and who it's for, and speak and market directly to them, because that's how you're going to ultimately sell your products, and that's how our services, because you're going to be able to speak directly to them. So you want to know exactly what your product is, what your service is, who you're exactly targeting, and just make sure that you're speaking directly to them and not trying to follow, say, the bigger guys that have just always done this, and it's creating this false perception of this is what beauty is supposed to be, or this is what athleticism is supposed to be. Everyone starts somewhere, and not everyone is going to be relatable. So make sure you know your product, your service, and speak directly to your target audience. So thanks for tuning in to the Marketing Lab. If you got some value out of this episode, share it with your team, colleagues, friends, or anyone you think will benefit. You can leave a review, let us know how we did. We'll take any feedback so we can create the #1 marketing podcast out there and deliver the most value to you. If you'd like to apply to be on our show and share your expertise, head on over to newframedigital.com/the-marketing-lab. And at the bottom of the page, you'll find a form to fill out. Remember, every entrepreneur needs a lab, and this is yours. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.